What if I told you the most powerful people in history, the ones who shaped empires, challenged kings, and bent reality with their will, were not the loudest, not the richest, and certainly not the most liked, but the most internally anchored? What if true strength wasn't found in chasing attention, but in learning to sit quietly, so rooted in your identity that the world has no choice but to orbit around your presence? If you've ever felt invisible despite your efforts, if you've given and still been overlooked, what you're about to hear may just change how you see power forever. Because the secret to being unforgettable is not what you do, it's what you stop doing. We spend so much of our lives on the outside, adjusting, fixing, pleasing, perfecting, hoping someone will notice, appreciate, or finally choose us. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The more you try to be seen, the more invisible you become. Not because you aren't enough, but because you're projecting the belief that you're not. And belief is a language everyone understands, even when you don't speak it. This is why Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor who commanded legions and governed an empire, still woke up each day to remind himself that fame, praise, and applause were all illusions. In his private journals, never meant to be published, he wrote more about humility than conquest. Why? Because he knew the mind is the true battlefield. He understood that power gained from others fades, but power gained from within becomes immortal. And yet, we spend years begging for crumbs of validation, not realizing we are handing people the pen to write our story. But what happens when you take that pen back? You see, energy doesn't lie. You can fake a smile, fake confidence, even fake success, but you can't fake being whole. When you walk into a room needing approval, people feel it even if they can't explain it. But when you walk in without needing a single thing, people feel that even more. That's presence, that's gravity, and that's what the Stoics mastered. Epictetus was born a slave, broke in body, but free in spirit. He lost everything yet still taught others how to gain themselves. He didn't chase power, and yet powerful people came to sit at his feet. Why? Because he had something they couldn't buy: inner command, the ability to suffer without complaint, to live without applause, to act without asking permission. So let me ask you, what would change in your life if you stopped asking for permission to exist? Here's the paradox. The moment you stop trying to be chosen, you become the only real choice. The second you let go of needing to be seen, the right people begin to notice. Because you stop projecting lack and start radiating worth. But most people never get there. They're too caught in the trap of constant performance. They reply instantly, over-explain, over-give, thinking it makes them more valuable. But in reality, it makes them predictable. And what's predictable fades. You don't chase what you already have. And that's why the ones who are still, who are mysterious, who don't rush to reveal themselves are the ones we lean into. Because they create space for wonder. And wonder is magnetic. Socrates, known as one of the wisest men in history, didn't consider himself wise at all. He asked questions instead of giving answers. And by doing so, he taught the world to think, not to perform, but to reflect. He walked barefoot through the streets of Athens, annoying the rich, humbling the proud, never asking for attention, yet here we are, still quoting him 2,400 years later. Why? Because his energy wasn't in his words, it was in his being. And that's the lesson we've forgotten. People remember energy far longer than they remember words. They remember how you made them feel, not what you said. So the question is, what does your energy say about you when you're not speaking? Stillness isn't emptiness, it's depth. It's not silence from fear, it's silence from strength. The person who can sit with their thoughts without needing to escape them, that person is uncheckable. And this world, full of noise, full of comparison, full of fake lives presented as perfect, needs more stillness. It needs more people who aren't trying to be seen because they've already seen themselves. It needs more souls who walk not to impress, but to express, not to win, just to be. And here's the secret: when you finally arrive in that place of stillness, You stop chasing love, success, or validation. Because everything meant for you can now find you. You are no longer vibrating at desperation, you're vibrating at alignment. And alignment always attracts more than effort ever could. Did you know that Diogenes, one of the most radical philosophers in history, rejected wealth, fame, and comfort to live in a barrel on the streets of Athens, when Alexander the Great approached him and asked, "Is there anything I can do for you?" Diogenes simply replied, "Yes, stand out of my sunlight. That's power." When the richest man in the world can't offer you anything you don't already have, you become untouchable, unbothered, free, not because you own the world, but because the world no longer owns you. This isn't about being cold. It's not about playing games or pretending not to care. It's about learning to value yourself so deeply that your presence becomes a privilege, not a performance. The right people will feel it. The wrong people will misunderstand it. But that's not your concern anymore. Your job is not to be digestible. Your job is to be undeniably you. Because the world doesn't need more copies. It needs originals. And being original means being misunderstood sometimes. It means being alone sometimes. But it also means being real all the time. And if you're thinking, but won't people walk away if I stop performing? The answer is yes, some will. But let them. Their absence is making space for people who are capable of meeting you where you truly are, not the version of you that begs, the version of you that breathes. And the people who stay, they won't stay because of what you gave them. They'll stay because of who you are, who you became when you finally stopped asking the world to name your value. So, if this message is reaching that quiet place in you, the place that's tired of being everything for everyone, the place that's been shrinking to fit in, the part of you that knows there's more than chasing, let this be your moment of shift. Let this be the day you stop chasing and start choosing. Choose stillness. Choose presence. Choose to be the kind of person who doesn't audition for life anymore, because they're already living it on their terms. And if you felt this, if something stirred inside you, don't just scroll, make it real. Hit that like button if you're done being invisible. Subscribe if you're ready to start living with presence instead of pressure, and turn on notifications so you never miss another moment like this. Because at Philosophers Hub YT, we're not here for cheap motivation. We're here to build a quiet revolution, one soul at a time. This is your space. This is your mirror. This is your reminder that your life is not an audition. It's the main act. And it's time you lived like it. Asterisk.